Hey, everybody. Hey, Alan. Welcome to Making
Hot the
Connections.
technician.
Yeah, we've been having fun behind the scenes today. Thank you guys for sticking around. But welcome to Making Connections with Aly. We're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. I'm gonna make a quick announcement and then we're gonna allow these wonderful, beautiful people to introduce themselves and we're gonna jump into this conversation. I want to remind everybody there is a Stop the Violence Day happening in Charlotte today. The address for that is 345 North College Street. That's 345 North College Street, and it's happening in Charlotte until 5 p.m. today. So you still have time. You can make it out there, go show your support, maybe sign some petitions. There's poetry, dance, all kinds of things happening. But, you know, we're trying to stop the violence because there's too many people dying by the hands of others. And, we have so much love in us. Let's just show love and not hate, right? I mean, let's get along and build and, make things better, right? We love you guys. We're so thankful you're here. Thank you for your support. And so let's jump into this interview. We have Miss Wanda Bowie and we have Quentin with us, and they are from Exotica Insurance. And welcome to the show. How are y'all doing
Thank
today?
you for having us. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you for having me.
Yes.
Absolutely. So y'all forgive me. I've been having some technical difficulties, but it's okay. It's still gonna be some good stuff, and y'all can hit the replay, and y'all can always jump in the chat and ask questions if you have questions. Since it's your first time here, I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity just to introduce yourselves, tell a little bit about yourselves to the family, and we'll start with you, Wanda.
Yes. Well, of course, my name is Wanda Bowie. I've been doing insurance for a couple of years now, so I'm pretty excited. Had did a career turn in my past, did all kinds of stuff, so pretty much just pumped about what I've been working on for this past couple of years, and bringing along a couple people with me here. Quentin, that's beside me, that's actually the owner of Exotica. So we're pretty much introducing ourselves, just the opportunity to not just assurance, but actually educating people about it. Definitely want to kind of get the word out there of those that don't know different things, and just decided that we just been working really hard in the behind the scenes, and just here. I'm excited. Even though that I might be doing it for a couple of years, I've definitely dedicated a lot of time in doing this. So I'm just happy to be here. And anyone that has any questions, I'm just, open, like an open book.
Awesome, awesome. And Quentin?
Well, my name is Quentin, by the way. Um, I am one
Head
of
southwest toward Harrow Road.
I am one of many that actually have stayed in Charlotte before. So I used to play a lot of golf in Ballantyne, and I also went to the Art Institute of Charlotte. So right now, this is one of the things of many things that I actually do here in the state of North Carolina, positioning in other states as well. So one of the things that I am a firm believer of is actually working on something hard and also making it easier for your future. So that's what I stand by.
Awesome, awesome. I love it. And I hear from both of you that, and this is kind of what I'm passionate about too, is we're talking about multiple streams of income and we're talking about financial literacy, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
I believe, as we get older, we have learned that everything we need to know, we didn't learn in kindergarten.
Yep, we didn't.
That's a
You're
nice little
correct.
saying, but it
Right.
didn't happen. How did you get started in this? What motivated you to get into financial literacy and teaching people about things? Was it an experience you had, or you just was
It
seeing that people
it
didn't
was
know?
when they say make your bed, the way you make your bed, you're gonna lay in it. If it's hard, firm, soft. So the crazy part about this is I actually been offered a assurance job many years ago and I turned it down. Like I was like, oh no, I'm not selling any assurance. People's not gonna be interested in buying that. Being naive. So I had a couple hard jobs. Didn't even think about it. And when I realized that I got tired of laying in the bed, that's too hard for me to lay in. I decided to change my career just off of just sheer faith. The guy that actually used to coach my son's basketball team offered me the opportunity. I was actually at my son's game, and he just approached me. He said, "Hey, what you think about doing insurance?" I was like, "Oh, insurance." I said, "Leave me time." People approach me to do this, and I was like, you know what? At the moment, I was unemployed. I have no job. I said, "Why not?" I guess at that moment it was just perfect for me to open up
Right.
the opportunity. Um, and then it was a state exam involved, so I just thought that maybe applying myself, maybe this is the opportunity that I need to take. Didn't have no idea what I was getting into. I had no clue. It was like blindsided, like I don't know. And then here I am now, still doing it. It was definitely destined for me to do this. And just the crazy thing of how things happen, where I turned down this job many times, and now that one time I actually took upon, to pursue it. And actually, it's probably definitely the best thing I ever done. Now my bed is way softer. Can make my own schedule. Never seen that coming. From all the hard jobs I've had, this job has allowed me to have that freedom. And like you said, residual income. And I just never seen it coming, and never thought in a million years that there's something I would be doing. And that's how I came to be. A little short story, just the short version. So
And you said you've been doing it for how long now?
a couple over 2 years now. To the early part of 2019, way before COVID, all that stuff have happened. So you know, just kind of like I had the feel for it before everything have hit last year, and then having to go through that, and then now here. So
Yeah.
it's just been an interesting roller coaster, but I'm grateful to have that job because, like I said, I make my own schedule. So imagine a lot of people that can't make their schedule. When that hit last year, it was just meant for that to happen. Like I said, it was in my cards to have an opportunity where I could work from home or from a distance. So
Right. And the thing about it is we do a little bit of the same thing. So
mm-hmm.
I'm excited to be, talking to you about it
Mm-hmm.
because what do you think? And Quentin, we can start with you on this one.
Mhm.
What do you think? Like she said, she heard the opportunity many times and she turned it down.
Mhm.
Um, why do you think people turn down like home-based businesses? People, when we say that there's residual income, you can make six figures. What happens? You think people they just don't believe us, or or they're scared, or what is it?
Well, I mean, I think it's more of a cognitive thing, that we all deal with, coming up in a world of the age of working a day job. That's what we are conditioned into doing. Not saying that it's a bad thing, but we deserve some type of independency when it regards to a career set. So anybody, that is working in a day in and day out job that, just say for example, let's say working for a nice restaurant like Texas Roadhouse, for example. Um, they, come to work on time. They get off work and they have
Mhm.
kids. They have a lifestyle, but most of that is taken up by the position in place that they are utilizing on a daily basis, and that's pretty much all week. That's 40 to 50 hours that they're committing to. So it's a level of being comfortable and being independent within a placeholder such as this one in the insurance field, that anybody can get in, regardless of their age, regardless of their education background. And it's something that they can utilize, something on the side. It can be a career for anybody that is 18 and up, to get into the field. So there's no discrimination as far as color or any ethnicity background. There's no disposition within the company where there's no acceptance or anything like that. So regardless of what you do, how you do it, whatever your profession is, you can create that platform to also do it yourself and make your own schedule, whatever it is that you do, whether it's painting, whether it is, consulting, or if you're an eye doctor, or if it's anything like traveling or being a person that likes to try different cuisines. You can do anything.
And that's true, and I was thinking about even when you're talking about people, working 50 hours on a job. I mean, some people, even if we're talking about Texas Roadhouse, maybe it might be your first time waiting tables.
Right.
You don't know if you can balance that tray with them 5 and 6 plates on there. You don't know if you can remember these orders, but
Correct.
there's a need in your household. You know that you need to make this money, and so you hustle. You watch the people that are doing it well, and you learn how to balance. You learn how to put your orders in. You don't do it right the first time, but over time, as you continue to do it, and so I think people get scared and they just think, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't like to talk to people. I can't approach people. How did you get over some of that, Wanda?
Oh goodness. Speaking of holding the plate, I actually worked at Denny's for 4 years. So definitely no one gets up off, out of the table. We give them everything. Like we come and fetch them their water, their drinks, whatever, their food. So I had my experience many years doing that, and that's what I was telling you. Like I made my bed hard and I laid in it. So, but I think just a penny bank ride on the question. Um, People get complacent, and we are creatures of our own. Like I guess taught behavior. Like what we was programmed to do, that's what we do. So anything outside of that is just like malfunctioning, our consciousness to do something else. So when you start challenging yourself, that's when things get kind of a little difficult. But really, it's just for your best because you're just rerouting yourself, you're reprogramming yourself. And I think it's just more of a people are afraid. It's more of fear that they're going to fail or they're not used to what they're not used to doing something outside of the normacy. So I think that's what it is. Why I probably turned down those people because I didn't have enough confidence thinking that I can do something like that. So
True.
it's just a lack of confidence. But when you get it started to grow up a little bit more, you just like starting like not care about what people think about you. I think that's when you start picking up a little bit more things and you start coming outside the box when you start caring less about what people think and care about what more do you want. I think that happens when you start getting older. I wish it happened quicker when I was younger. I wish I was that
Mm-hmm.
type that I did like I don't care, like, but I did care. I care if someone says something to me, they say, "Oh, you suck." Well, I believe them. But now it's like you say I'm suck, like whatever. I know me more than you know me, so I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing. So I think it's more confidence, and that do you see yourself doing something like that, or do you depend on someone that's engaging you to do it? Do you trust them to teach you how to do it? Some people are not like that type of independent person that will be self-taught. They'll go out their way to teach themselves all these things. They will actually depend on somebody to teach them. So another thing is some people don't do new jobs or new tasks if they don't trust the person that is engaging in them to do so. So that's another thing you have to think about. It's the ones that are inviting you. Do you trust them or you don't trust them?
Mm-hmm.
Just like I go to a job just to get a career, I trust them to train me, you know, and we're used to that. Oh, we know if we sign in for Sam Club or Walmart or any of those jobs, we know that we're going to get trained. We don't think about that we're going to fail because we already know they're not going to allow us to fail. They're fires. But if you're doing it by yourself, then who are you going to blame? You no one to blame, right? But you. So do you
Right.
trust yourself? That's that's the situation where it alternates and switches sides. So I think it's more like, do I trust me? Am I confident that I'm going to produce? So that now the question has flipped. So I think that's why I probably turned it down because I didn't trust me.
That's a good point. And Jonathan's on. He says hello, and I think he was saying indeed to the part where you forget about what other people think
Mm-hmm.
about you because I mean,
Yeah,
what they think about me is none of my business because what they think could be right, it could be wrong. But
exactly. But you're in
I
development.
don't have time to chase all that.
Exactly.
And Jonathan saying, if you want to learn something bad enough, you'll figure it out.
Exactly. That's the independent
That's right.
entrepreneur mindset. You'll figure it out. Yep, self-taught. So I believe in self-taught when you come into that type of industry. If you don't have that consciousness, that will to learn, you're not going to make it. You might as well just go ahead and clock in. They'll get you straight. They'll make sure that you won't fail. and you stay behind that assembly line, and if you miss any of those items, you will be written up or it'll be docked out your check. Either way, however they they want to deal with it. So yeah.
Quentin, I think you have something to say. I see you like.
Yeah, I was going to respond to Jonathan that there becomes a self accountability level that you have when you're in a job setting, and just going based upon what Wanda just mentioned about clocking in. We can all use that same energy to clock in for ourselves and what we really want to do, and we can hold ourselves accountable, just like a day job that you would actually go to from sun up to sundown. The commitment that we have for most of these companies that we've worked with, everybody has a resume, and I can tell you that you spend about a third of your life working. You spend a lot of time, everyone spends a lot of time putting in that energy that they can also put and transpose that into themselves to create something. And being
Mhm.
self-taught, that's about the best thing you can ever have. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. You have to have it. That's one of those things that is inevitable. And definitely when it comes down to knowledge, it's important.
Yeah.
And that's true. And I mean, again, like we keep saying though, but you're gonna spend that time, those 20 to 40 hours a week, going to this meeting, getting this training, making sure your uniform is just so. And so, why not just spend that time learning your new craft, learning this entrepreneurial path? What are they asking me to do? Well, I'm not really good at approaching people, but how do I get over that? What do I say to make it comfortable? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And just because that job, when they need you to be there 60 hours a week, they're going to require that you be there 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
They don't care that your child has a game. They don't care that your family's sick. They'll give you some time, but it's limited.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Like I have 4 weeks of vacation. That's it.
That's
I'm not
it.
going to get any more throughout the year.
No.
But when you're doing your home based business, when you're working that entrepreneurial, and it's not for everybody, and that's true. Some people love their jobs. If you love your jobs, great. I'm happy for you. But there are some people who spend 33.5 of those 40 hours just being miserable and unhappy and not liking where the environment they're in. Why put yourself through that? You know?
You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. And that's what we're talking about right now. Those is listening. They have something in their mind. They need to put it on paper and bring it to this third dimensional planet because it's not too late. Whatever you have in your mind that you want to do, why not do that? You know, why wait till you're 85 years old and say what if, could have, should have?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want that. You
Mhm.
know?
No regrets. And the thing about it is, a lot of times with these home based businesses and things, you don't have to quit your job right away.
No,
No.
You can do it on the side, right?
correct,
You can build this path while you're still going to that job.
Mhm.
correct. Yep,
That's right.
So talk
absolutely.
about that a little bit, Wanda.
Well, I can talk about that because even though I have my life insurance license, I also have other license that I can utilize at the same time. So that doesn't stop me from selling health. It doesn't stop me from selling property casualty, which I just got. So I'm happy about that.
Yes.
So, and then I am, going to become a trainer soon. So I'm actually wrapping that up. So if I did wanted to train people, twice a week, and then I'm selling insurance 5 days out of a week, that's me being able to do that. But with a full-time job, no, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to, weave in and weave out. It gives me control of those schedules, even down to the training that's still controlled by me. And, it just gives me that opportunity to do more than one thing. Like you said, you can work a job if it's full time or part time, and then the rest of the days be yours, depending on the time that you have or what your clock when you're clocking in. This opportunity is the perfect part time job if you're going to have one. You definitely, those that has full time jobs, if they did wanted to do something as far as running their own business, then they can work their own bit, work their schedule outside of that schedule. So, like you said, build up until that gets big enough where it takes over the current job that you have, if you want a replacement. So you're just making a realistic transitioning. That's all you're doing. Just you're transitioning to what you really want to do, or the things you choose to do for the rest of your life. So, because you got, like you said, you got people that love their job and they might have been there for 10, 15 years and they want to retire there, but they still kind of want to do their thing on the side where they can still stay at their job. And then when they retire, then they can completely take over the other job that they've been building on. So that makes sense. The different circumstances cause different measures. So,
Right.
you know, it makes sense. Why not, create things? This, like, for example, we know the entertainment world, right? And these days, you have to not just sing. You have to know how to dance, act, write, produce. Like, you kind of have to do a little bit of everything. Triple threat to make it in the music in the industry. Period.
Right.
And but same thing with life. You having multiple jobs, multiple income, side hustles. They all come together. They all make sense. Unless you just got it like that. So people just, they just got it. Like, okay, I'm not mad. Can't be. I'm a little jelly over here because I got to. But you're absolutely right. You can do multiple things at the same time. You just don't be stuck doing something that you don't want to do. You're unhappy. 99.9, you're going to quit and you're going to have to restart over again.
Mm.
It's a high chance that you're going to have to restart because now you're unhappy. Eventually, you're going to snap and you're going to wind up quitting that job. And now you don't have nothing to fall back on. Not even what you love to do.
True.
So why
So,
not have
like,
a safety net? Yep.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt
sorry.
you.
No, I'm just saying that's why not have a safety net. Yeah, that's pretty much just. Go ahead.
You're right. You're right. Like I'm just thinking about like back in the day, like
Mm-hmm.
furniture business was
Mm-hmm.
big, and like certain parts of the country, they were just that's what they did. They made furniture. They sold furniture like crazy, and so people kind of stayed around those areas because if that's what they did, if they went to an area that didn't sell furniture, it was like, well, what do I do here?
Mm,
But a lot of times with these home based businesses, they're needed everywhere.
mm,
So if you needed to pick up and move, your business goes with you.
yep.
And you don't really have to lack because now your clientele can be global all over the place, right? So
Right.
Quentin, what do you think about that kind of, that mentality and that, you know, just the fact that you don't have to be stuck anywhere in a specific place?
What
I
a
want
great.
to say Pacific because people say that, but it's specific. I'm just playing.
Well, that's it's a good thing. It's a great thing. I would say that for a fact because you don't have to move a business. You don't have to move this brick and mortar business to another place because actually you can't pick it up. In other words, you have to go rebuild and restructure. One of the greatest things about this position in this world, being a life insurance broker, is being able to set your own hours, being financially free, and then also taking out the time to relax and go other places, go travel and meet other people, go try out different things. Whether it be different hobbies that you like to do, is just taking that time almost like a baby and just going out and just doing whatever you want. Um, and being able to set that platform for other people, especially because this is not a business that actually stops whenever you start. This is one of those businesses where you can actually build a team, and then also
Mhm.
those people can also do the same things that you're doing in the business as an agent. So you can go anywhere. You can take this across country. You can go global. You can go state to state. You can do the Mid Atlantic area, whatever areas that you want to go to. You can travel and you can meet new people and do different things. There's no stopping point.
Amen. Because I'd be telling people, okay, I said, so McDonald's sells burgers, but so
Mhm.
does Wendy's, so does Hardee's. But guess what? And sometimes they like right on the same street, but
They
they
are.
both open up every day, right?
That's
Yep.
right.
Because some people prefer Hardee's over Wendy's.
That's true.
So don't be, everybody's doing that. Everybody, no, I mean, even though they're doing it, they may not be doing it to the same capacity. They may not be doing it to the same integral level. They may not be selling what you're selling. Like, one of them's got a biggie bag, and then one of them's got the 2 for $5. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Come up with your own niche that makes you special and makes people want to look for you. You don't have to be worried, because you know how many people there are in America.
A lot.
You're going to get the clientele if you're offering what the clients need. So let's talk about that. What is the financial literacy that you provide?
Wow.
What makes people look for
What
you?
do you want me to answer that? Oh goodness. So pretty much knowing what they've gotten. I mean, just this is. I know sounds crazy, but most of the time when I talk to a client, I ask them, "Okay, so what is in your policy?" And they go, "I don't know." They just know that the death benefit, if they're lucky to remember that, you
Right,
know, oh, I got 10,000, but they don't know any other. If they have any living benefits, they don't know if it's a term or a whole life. They don't know nothing. They barely know nothing.
right,
That's not that's that's normal because they don't sell insurance. They're
right,
not mindful. It's just like having healthcare. You have your health insurance, you have your health benefits, but you don't remember all of them because it's
right.
like a book that they give you. You just kind of have to breeze through it to see what you're covered for. So they're not going to remember all that stuff, but a lot of them, if you just teach, obviously the agent was just more concerned with selling the policy and not really educating them about what they have.
Right.
So me, when I talk to people, I don't just sell them a policy. I'm actually educating them so they can know over and over again and kind of drilling in their head. Say, hey, you have living benefits. Some of these companies offer indemnities, accelerated um, riders to the policy, which people don't think. What happens if you had 12 months or 24 months to live? Which, I mean, you could be actually handling a lot of these things yourself. Imagine the company would actually pay you a percentage or half of that towards your burial while you're still alive. Do
Mm,
you have those features? Little stuff like that. Just a little example. A lot of these policies, a lot of people are not aware. Even though you have had life insurance when you was 20 and now you're 60, it doesn't mean that they have those features in there. They just really like came up with a lot of these features
yeah.
some years back. So I know that you only have a death benefit, but because it's so cheap, mm, I always say, well, keep that, but add something with an extra feature because that is cheap. So in case something does happen, you get to pay $20, $30 because you brought it when you was 20 or you had it when your grandmother got it on you. Okay. But
Right.
you don't have living benefits. You don't have to, you probably don't even have accident coverage, So a lot of those older policies really is just the death benefit. Um, Not to say I know everything and I know it's any policy because I don't know unless I'm like, oh, okay, I see it. But I'm just saying, like, if you don't know what you have, don't shut down somebody like me or anyone. It's just actually open up and learn about what you have. And then you can decide to get more later. At least have some education about what you have. Don't be
Mhm.
naive. Don't like, oh, she's going to try to get me. No, I don't. I just wanted you to know what you have. So you can
Right.
say, what do you have and what you're entitled to? Because if you don't know what you're entitled to, how are you going to even educate the ones that's supposed to collect the money? They won't even know what to do because you just grabbed something just because you grabbed it and you're paying for something that you have no knowledge about. But I bet you amount of money, if you had if you had cable, you know what channels that you're entitled to. You know how much you're paying. You know
Right.
which each line's cost because you're gonna look at the bill. You could tell me more about your cable bill than what you would do, what you would do for your policy. You would actually have more information about your cable bill more than you would with your policy.
You're right
And
about that. Don't let the HBO channel go out. Now I know I pay for
I,
that.
they
Let me.
know that, and they know about
Hey.
stars. They know about all of them, but they can't tell me they have a living benefit. They can't tell me if they had accidental coverage attached to their policy, and that's more important than the car insurance that they have. So you're telling me that your car is more valuable than your body? Doesn't mean it's not mandatory to get life insurance does not mean that it should be mandatory for yourself. So you're telling me that you're willing to pay $120 on car insurance, something that does not feel anything, and you have not you don't even have a policy on yourself or enough to cover your expenses, your house, your car, in case something happens. And people they're not educated on that. Like, really think, we all think that we're going to be here for a long time, but really it's for a short time, and some shorter. If you look around every day, there's a number of people that actually pass away in North Carolina. It's like 200 something people every day that pass. If it's natural causes, accident. So you're just pretty much waiting till you are part of the 200 and something that passes every day. It's not guaranteed.
Right, right. And I'd like you said, a lot of people are just like, well, I have enough. I just need to get buried.
Yeah.
But what if you're a family unit?
Correct.
You have a wife or a spouse left. You have children left that are under the age of 18.
Correct.
What about them? What about the house? What's going to happen with that?
Well,
especially if you're the breadwinner.
It
People
comes
don't
down to
think about.
characteristics. And I'm not the judge. I don't judge people, but I'd have to say it's characteristics, because at that point, are you thinking about your wife or your kids, or are you thinking about yourself? Because you feel like, okay, something happens to you, that it doesn't matter, that that got nothing to do with you. You didn't handle your burial expenses, and that's it. Or do you really care? Because at the end of the day, if you're married or not married to, or you have a girlfriend or whatever, you do want them to kind of carry on and even move out of the situation in the end if something did happen. So why not, leave something, an inheritance? Because that's what life insurance can be. It could be a funeral expense, or it actually could be a inheritance. A lot of people don't think about like those things. They don't think of those things where if they left 100K or $500,000, that's $500,000 you didn't have before, but you made sure that you paid off that, monthly or yearly. And something happens, your family is in a better position financially, definitely completely taken care of. Especially when you're having houses, and some people's homes is worth $200,000 or $300,000, and then they have cars and they have these businesses. So these things need to be covered. They don't think of these things like that. They just think of it as a bill, and it's not a bill. It's more of an inheritance, to protect the inheritance.
That's a good point. So a couple things you said, I'm trying to figure. So one of them was the inheritance, and Quentin. A lot of people think, well, I have insurance on my job. So, but what happens if, let's just say, like with COVID, a lot of jobs are shut down. So that what happens to your insurance? You don't have any, right?
You don't have any.
And the fact that, so get on that, Quentin, and the fact that this is a way, like Wanda was saying, to build residual income, even leaving an inheritance for your family. That ain't coming from your job. Go ahead, Quentin. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Hey, you're actually speaking to the choir right now. And when it relates to leaving it, well, when you get terminated from a job, or if you have sick leave, most companies don't even honor that. When it comes down to a 401k plan, some companies are a little bit different. I can attest to it. I've actually been on a job before where I actually had 2% taken out of my paycheck. But it's just the same as a savings plan in the life insurance agency. Even for people that are in the life insurance, like being a broker or agent, or even just being a customer or investor to having a house, or having a savings account, period. What you put into your life and when you leave this earth is what you put into your family when you leave as well. So not only just creating generational wealth, but also passing all of those things down to make sure that your family is secure in the event that something happens to you. And that's what we normally don't think about until it's too late. We run into a lot of clients that are 60, that are 70, that are 80 years old, and it's almost that time. I hate to say it, but there is a such thing as far as, being in a position where time is not running out, but then again, it really is running out. So
Mhm.
that's the reason why we're here, and that's the reason that we do the things that we do to educate people. And like Wanda spoke on with car insurance, you've been driving for how long?
Goodness. Can I count? Yeah, for a long time, yeah.
Okay. So there are people that have been driving all of their lives, and if you were to take and you would put this in perspective of actually seeing all of the money that you put into your vehicle. You buy the car, it's 50 grand. It may be 20 grand.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of the case, you spend $100 to $200 on your vehicle every month for car insurance to cover yourself. We're covering the car as well, comprehensive and collision. So you right now, if you were to cash out, how much would you say that you actually have put into your car all of these years?
Talk about like insurance wise.
Insurance
Oh my
wise.
gosh, I can't even tell you, but it's been we call it thousands, but thousands and thousands of dollars. we,
Right.
but yeah, a lot
Yeah.
more than what I put in my health. I mean, my life. I'm talking about more of my life insurance. So that's
And
because it
when
was
you pass away,
mandatory.
you're not going to get anything back from that car insurance,
You're
though.
not
No.
going to get anything back, but you can get something back with your own life. So you have to use your own body as a savings plan. What you spend on a daily basis may seem ridiculous to some other people, that actually conserve themselves and actually save. Those are the people that are starting to create generational wealth just in case they pass away from this earth. So in a way, insurance is a very touchy subject to that regard when it regards to life. So we have to think of it as if we are protecting our only asset, which is our bodies. That is our soul. That is our offspring. That is our children. That's our children's children later on down the line. So setting them up, making sure that they're okay, making sure that you have a burial and not a cremation, because like I said,
Mm.
everybody is going in a position nowadays where something happens to one of their family members and immediately there's a GoFundMe page.
Yep.
And we see that all the time because we have not took the initiative to set that generational wealth up initially. So that's where we have to ask ourselves, how can I protect me? How can I make sure that I have coverage? How can I make sure that my children are set up for greatness whenever something happens to me?
Mm-hmm. That's true.
And I think just like you're talking about, like you can, like maybe your grandparents or whatever tried to set up generational wealth. They had given you a house in your name, but because income and things weren't covered, there was only that death benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Now you had to sell the house
Yep.
to take care of the debt.
Yep.
So they had a plan. They were on the right track, but they just didn't,
They ain't finished it out.
connect all the dots.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we don't have no excuses anymore because
Nope.
there's information out there. There's opportunities out there. You can go and get your questions answered. So and we've got to do that because thinking about that too, we can't wait till they're in their 50s and you start thinking, well, what's going on? We got to start educating our children younger.
Correct.
Okay, now this is why, and we'll say save, but what does that mean? I mean, because a lot of times when we're talking about saving, we're talking about for an emergency when you need some extra tires.
Mm.
But we got to get past that point. We're talking about invest.
Yes.
That's just true.
We're talking about get something that's yielding some higher interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
I posted something the other day and I said, when you buy something, you want the lowest interest rate. But when you invest in, get something with the highest interest rate you can get.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want your money just to sit there and earn nothing.
That's right.
You're correct.
In that savings account, you're going to get maybe, if you're lucky, 1.5%.
If you're lucky.
Talk about that one.
Right.
Wow. When it comes to investment, definitely could jump on that for sure because the problem is when people get money, they think they got money. That's why they never invest. because as soon as they get money, they spend it as if they have a lot of money, and not
Mm.
taking that money to make more money, putting themselves in a position where they truly can afford to buy certain things that they desire. So they want to feel important. So they don't they invest in the wrong things. They becoming consumers and not entrepreneurs. So they're investing in other people that are using their heads. Now they're in the other seat and they're in, different positions. So they, as soon as they get their $5,000 check or their stimulus check, they go right away. You got to go get some Jordans. Well, that's residual income for whoever owns Jordan and Nike.
Right.
You're investing, the opposite. But if you was intelligent, if you was going to buy Jordans, do you have any stocks in Jordans? They say if you're going to invest in something, invest in something that you already made an investment in.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That makes
Because that market
good sense.
stays lucrative. I'm sorry. So you keep that market going because you're making investment back into that market. If you have a credit card, debit, like everything that every area that I shop in, I make investment in wherever I'm connected with.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if we even down the credit cards, if I'm going to shop at Macy's or any of those places because I have a credit card there, why not? Because it's gonna make my credit better.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Why would I go shop anywhere else if I don't have a credit card attached to it?
That's right.
That's a
Because I'm
good
investing.
point.
Or have some stocks in those stores, because then I know I'm getting a percentage out of that, even though it might be a small percentage. But at least I'm making a reinvestment back to myself.
Right.
It's a benefit.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
I know for Father's Day I was like, let's not get Dad a tie this year. Let's get him a stock that's gonna pay him a dividend. How about we do that?
That's right.
Mhm.
you know. So guys, this has been awesome. Um
Yeah.
I know we started a little bit late, but I'm trying to get as much time in as we can.
Yeah.
But again,
Mhm.
I feel so passionate about, you know, we've got to do something different.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
We can't sit around and just be like, I mean, even people of faith, I am telling you,
Mhm.
faith without works, though, is dead.
Yes,
You
it
got
is.
to do something different. We're not telling anybody, like I said, to quit your job, put your family in a financial bind, but we're saying get the information,
Yes.
know your
Exactly.
options. And,
Mhm.
if it, like Wanda, it took me a few times. People offer me things, and I'm like, I'm not interested. I don't feel like it. I ain't got enough time. I'll be tired when I come home. Well, you know what? I'm gonna stay tired coming home if I don't do something different. If I don't get myself some time freedom, if I don't get some financial freedom so I can go on vacation, like Quentin said, and be able
Mhm.
to refresh myself, refuel, those things are important.
It is.
Yes.
You know, I know when I was growing up, cause I'm probably older than y'all, but if we took one vacation a year, we was like, "Whoo, this is our vacation of the year. That's
Exactly.
it." Life is crazy these days. I need about 4 or 5 vacations a year, cause
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah.
So, but we're gonna take a quick break,
Okay.
and then we're gonna come back and if there's anything I missed that you wanted to talk about,
Sure.
bring it up then. And we're definitely going to tell people how they can follow you guys, but we'll be
Please.
right back, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
We're going
Thank
to be
you
right
for
back.
being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ AlySiaJohnson.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Aly Johnson at info@AlySiaJohnson.com. That's info@ AlySiaJohnson.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, everybody. So, yes, you heard it. This is my show. Like I said, we're here every Saturday at 12 noon and every Monday at 2 p.m. But I also have a platform. I made that investment because I know what it's like trying to, be able to get your message out there, share your gifts with the world. If that's you and you're looking for a platform, contact me. You can inbox me, you can email us, you can call or text at 980-389-6826. This is a place for you. And you got to share your gifts with the world. People need to know what you're doing. I mean, if you sell a good pound cake, baby, you important to the world. You making somebody happy on a daily basis. So don't take your gifts for granted, and again, if you're struggling, maybe you don't know what you want to do, what you want to get into, listen to these different options. Have a meeting with Wanda and Quentin just to see what they got to offer. If it's for you, awesome, go for it. If it's not, keep moving until you find that place where you fit, where you can share the gift that God has given to you, right? So, Wanda and Quentin, I'm so thankful for you guys. I'm thankful for what you're doing, teaching people, letting them know that there are options, letting them know that they need to make sure that they're good, their family is good, because there are so many GoFundMe's, and now people don't even give to GoFundMe's because there's so many. And you're like, if I keep giving to these, my household going to be suffering. So what can you do to make sure that your family doesn't have to do that, to keep the lights on, to keep their house going, to make sure your kids go to college even when you're not here? And I know we don't like to talk about death. That's one thing we're like, I ain't done. I mean, I got a lot of years. But as we see, we don't know the day or the time. So it's best to be prepared. And just like Quentin and Wanda were saying, you will pay that $500 to look good rolling down the street in that car. But why not invest in these policies and invest in mutual funds and IRAs, things like that, where you're going to get a refund? I mean, you're going to get a return on your investment.
Right.
So Wanda, Quentin, I want to give you both opportunities. If I miss something and we need to discuss it, let's get to it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I do want to we brought this up before the break about those that had a job and now they lost their job. I just pretty much, this is my thing on it. When you lose your job, you're not going to want to afford. You won't be able to afford assurance if it's going to be higher. You may be used to having it dock out your check and it's $30 to $50, and then now you have like 30 days, so you have to convert it over, and now they're going to convert it over to your current age. I mean, like you just started the job 10 years ago or 15 years ago, and
Right.
now you have a couple of things on your MIB, so that's medical history. Um, and now they flagged you as having pre-existing conditions, that gets modified and those rates increase. So the thing is always have an outside assurance. So if you did leave your job, you locked in on those rates when you was younger. And you want to kind of separate things because you never own the policy. When you're doing a group in a group assurance, you actually just, the only thing you're going to receive is a certificate because you never own the policy. And the employer, basically you are insured. That's the insurability because you are connected to that employer. So if anything happens, he's going to have a financial loss. So that's why he's able to have assurance on you to begin with, just in case something happens to you. So he owns the policy. Also, he can, do a little bit more things with that. And that's why he's able to kick you off the policy because you're no longer there. So why would you want to put yourself in a position where, again, someone has control, and those rates do go up. You might not notice it because you're working harder, and of course you're getting an increasement, so you're not paying attention. It's coming out your check. You're not going to notice that until it gets ridiculous, and then you go, "What is going on? Why is it missing?" You're like 50, 60 years old working at a job. It wasn't like that before, and now suddenly your just rates is just like, "Wait a minute, I'm paying $60 now," and it's like, and 9 out of 10 is term, so it's going to terminate because they know that you're going to last for this long at a job. They know you're not going to be there forever, so people just don't realize. And then another thing they don't realize that some of those term policies only covers you while you're at work. So what happens when you're home?
Mm-hmm.
What's that? They got nothing to do with them. You're not at work anymore. So have you read the contract? Did you read it? That you only covered? Because I actually had to cover someone that worked in a prison, and his insurance is good for him when he's at work. But as soon as he pulls off that parking lot, somebody across the street that could have recognized him and sent him to the hole could have taken him out of here, and it got nothing to do with it. So he had to get outside insurance to cover himself. This is like a true story. So this is why I know, because I'm selling these policies to people. He actually read that, like, he's not getting covered. Something happens to him outside of work, that's it. So yeah, when it comes to these job insurance, do you know what you have on your job insurance? Did you read it?
Right.
Do you know it's a term? Like, did you get a certificate? Where's your certificate at? Like, what's on it? You don't even own the policy, so it's okay to keep that while you're working. That's extra money. But also have your personal to the side. And speaking of one more thing, and I guess Quentin could go. When it comes to the ownership of homes and stuff, people think it's they're okay when once they're getting mortgage, they get some type of property protection. So basically, somebody comes to their house and something happens to them, they'll have to pay. They hurt their leg in their yard or something. Well, that's cool because that's basically make sure that they wouldn't get sued or anything. Or something happens where a tree falls over to the neighbor's yard or stuff like that. But it's also important to have mortgage protection, because mortgage protection pays the whole amount out, and it's not just limited to just the property. If that makes sense, it's like when you're doing the opposite, where you have property insurance, it only covers the property. But if you lose your life, that does not protect the person's life. So that's why a lot of people get mortgage protection, because it is term, it is life insurance. It's just it just got a little bit more riders in there that kind of like helps with that if something did happen to your life while you're paying on the home. So that's just two different natures. So that's why it's important to have property protection and mortgage protection. Two different natures of the same thing, just protecting, making sure that the house get paid for. And they also have features where you can actually get money back at the end of those terms to actually pay off the house. So those that want to kind of pay off the house early, there's a lot of information out there. You can actually plan to do that as well, just by strategizing, and calling me, and I definitely can inform them about those things and those, options that they can have. There's more to it. You might have a chance to come across it, but 9 out of 10 is usually that conversation you would have with a broker like me, that you would get all this information from. So that's another thing I just wanted to go out there, the difference. If those that it sounds complicated when you see it, but when someone explains it to you, and break down the details to make it, more logical, like, okay,
Exactly.
what's this? Then it makes more sense. So that's it. That's all I gotta say.
You're good.
That's
You're
it.
good.
That's it. I'm done.
Quentin, any last words?
So this, yes. So basically, what Wanda is basically saying in the technical term is, if you have a chance to write this down, make sure you go research what an index universal life insurance plan is. And so what that does, that sets you up for success in paying off college debt. That sets you up in a position where you can actually pay off your house. That gives you a savings plan for other future endeavors in the event that something does happen to you. And that is actually what most people do in the event that they get an insurance policy like that in 10 to 15 to 20 years that is interest sensitive to live off of your interest as you're living. So that sets you up for greatness. That's the generational wealth that I was speaking of earlier in the conversation that we were having. So I think that's pretty much all we have for right now.
Awesome.
If there's any questions or any concerns that you might have, we will definitely be at your disposal to answer those questions for
So
any.
make sure you tell people how they can get in touch with you or follow you.
Yes. Now, the way you can follow us is going to Exotica Insurance and liking the page. You can also go to exoticainsurance.com and also check out facts, frequently asked questions. You can also chat with either me or Wanda, whoever picks up first.
Yeah.
Either way it goes, any questions that you may have, there's so many platforms. You can actually give us a call if you like to. You can also go online to check out reviews through Google. If you research us, we are there. There is a business office that we have
Yes.
in Lumberton, North Carolina, that you can actually come to and see us in person, or we can actually come out to you if you needed more info. Charlotte is a really big area, so there's about 2.5 million people there. So I mean, we're only 2 people. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, anything in North Carolina.
Anything in North Carolina, period.
North Carolina, South Carolina. We just have to make arrangements. We just reaching out to those that's in those areas, and if, like I said, we are licensed in other states, so just feel free to just reach out to us, and then we can make those arrangements. If we're closing the deal out over the phone, if you're too far from travel, we can also do that as well. Or like I said, we can just meet. We like to travel, so shoot your shot.
Make sure you spell it for them because it's spelled a little bit different.
Yes, I will. Can you spell it out?
Yes. It's spelled E as in Edward, Z as in zebra. Oh, well, E as in Edward, X X as in X-ray, Z as in zebra, O as in Oscar, T as in Tom, I as in indigo, C as in cat. Well, there's Q as in quail and A as in apple. I'm gonna just respell it.
Yeah, you just
So yeah, go ahead and spell it out again.
Oh no, you spelled it. You jacked it up.
So,
this is your company. I'm just partnering with you.
I tell you what I'm gonna do for
You can
both of
actually
them.
edit it out if you want.
I'm gonna put it on the description of the video.
Yes, please do that.
So yeah, put it in the description. It's spelled EXZOTIQA insurance.com. Okay.
All right, I got you. Well, again, thank you guys for being with us. Thank you for the information. Thank you for helping people because everybody needs help along the way. And sometimes they're a little afraid to ask for it or, ashamed. Don't be ashamed where you are. We always tell you this every week. Don't be ashamed what you've been through, the decisions you made, the policies maybe you've already bought. It's okay.
Yeah.
But when you learn more, you change, you shift. That's what life is about. We do it all the time. So you don't drive the same car you had when you was 15 because your parents made you drive the car they had when they was 15.
Exactly.
So life changes and it's okay. But what's not okay is just not learning, not getting the information, not changing when the offer's there, right? But regardless, thank you, Wanda. Thank you, Quentin. I appreciate you. You're welcome anytime.
Oh.
Let us know what you got going on, and we'll continue to share it. And Making Connections family, we appreciate you. Thank you for being with us every Monday and every Saturday. Thank you for your support. We love you. We appreciate you. If we haven't had a show on yet that you want to have on, if you know somebody that you want to send our way, do that. We're open. So you guys have a great day. And as always, From Making Connections, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Bye.